All right, we say good afternoon to Dr. Joe Schwarcz. He is, of course, host of the Dr. Joe Show, which airs Sundays at 3 here on CJAD, and also director of the McGill Office for Science and Society. So, Dr. Joe, before we get into the other issue, which is today's supplements and which ones are worth taking, I want if you could just possibly settle a bit of an issue that's become, a little out of hand here over the past couple of days. It involves drinking milk. Our producer, Alice, when I walked in the other day, said, do you drink milk? And which I found an odd thing to ask because, of course, I drink milk. I think most of us drink milk, but the idea was, could you drink a glass? Like, when's the last time you drank an actual glass of milk? Not added it to coffee or whatever, actually drank a glass. And I thought about it, and it's been a long time because even though I remember, when we were kids, right? If you were playing, you'd come back in, your mom would pour you a glass of cold milk, and it was great. And I probably haven't done that in 30 years, maybe longer. So then I had a glass the other day, full, like 3.8 organic milk, and it was great cold. What's the issue? Because, a couple of our people here say it's disgusting, it's chalky, it's this, it's that. What's the deal on milk? Did milk get a bad rep that I missed somewhere? Did someone say something that milk is not good for you anymore?
Many people have said that, usually in an irresponsible way. Anyway, I did have a glass yesterday. I do remember that. I do not avoid it. These days, people try to put foods and beverages into categories. Either, they have halos on them, like blueberries, or they're festooned with horns, like hot dogs. It just doesn't work like that. A single food should never be deified or vilified. Now, milk is a typical example of this because over the years it has been presented as a miraculous way to increase your protein and your calcium intake. And then the opponents say, well, milk is for baby calves and was never intended to be consumed by humans. They say that the human is the only species that consumes milk past weaning. Well, that part is true, but it's also true that the human is the species that has a brain. We put men on the moon. We can figure out, whether or not something is good for us. And there's nothing wrong with drinking milk, even after you've been weaned off of it. It actually is a very good source of protein and calcium. However, contrary to what, Dairy Association will say, it is not an absolute requirement for health because, of course, you can get protein and calcium from many, many other sources. Leafy greens, legumes, nuts, fish with bones will give you calcium. And protein is easily available in meat and soy. So it's not absolutely necessary to drink milk for health.
Okay.
And it is true that it will strengthen bones. On bone scans, you can show that people who drink milk will have larger bones on a scan. But no study has shown that there are actually fewer fractures. So just increasing bone density does not necessarily mean fewer fractures. But anyway, what I can tell you is what not to drink, in my view, and that is raw milk, because that can be contaminated by bacteria. Pasteurized milk is really what we should be drinking. Also, I'm not in favor of chocolate milk. Not because I don't like chocolate. I like the taste of it, but it's full of sugar.
Told you, yeah.
Full of sugar. Now, some people will, of course, have trouble with milk if they are lactose intolerant.
Oh, yeah, okay.
If they cannot digest the milk sugar.
That's
but
fine.
Today you can find lactose-free milk, or you can take lactate tablets before you drink milk.
So wait, I want to stop you for a second because first, I'm glad you brought that up about chocolate milk because half the people we talk to, I drink chocolate milk, and I'm saying that's not really the same. It's full of sugar. So thank you for clarifying that. You're basically drinking a sweet, right? As
Absolutely.
much as you are milk.
You're drinking the equivalent of a soft drink.
Okay.
Well, I guess somewhat better because at least you're getting protein and calcium in there, but you don't need the sugar.
So one of our listeners is asking, what about something called A2 milk, which is like 5%? Have you heard of A2?
Yeah. I mean, the fat content of milk is a concern for people who have cholesterol issues. because then you do have to watch the saturated fat intake. However, there are some very interesting nutrients that are also present in the fat in milk. There's one that we're looking at more closely these days called C60, which originally was isolated from dolphins, which seems to have really beneficial effects in terms of aging. So I don't have anything against drinking 3.5 or 5% milk, except for people who really have to watch the saturated milk intake. So I think that the bottom line is that in many cases, milk has been falsely maligned.
There you go.
But in other cases, it has been, over-promoted in terms of having to have a glass of milk at every meal, which, of course, is really not needed.
Okay. Goat milk, sheep milk, any difference?
Milkshake?
No, goat milk or sheep milk?
Oh, goat milk.
Yeah.
No.
Same.
No. The same kind of issues arise with it. Now, today, you have all of the plant milks today.
Right.
You have the oat milk, and a lot of people, I noticed when they go into Starbucks, they'll specifically order their coffee with oat milk, thinking that somehow that is more nutritious. Well, first of all, the amount of milk, whether it's regular milk or oat milk that you put into your coffee, is not going to have a huge impact on your lifestyle, right? Now, they're thinking that oat milk is beneficial because oat contains a compound called beta-glucan, which has been shown to lower cholesterol. Well, yes, that is true if you're eating steel-cut oatmeal every morning for breakfast. Then you're getting enough of that to possibly have an impact, but not when you put a smidgen of oat milk, into your coffee. I guess, people who are against using animal products, and there are those people who, for sort of ethical reasons, don't think that we should be using animals as, factories to feed us. For them, oat milk or other plant-based milks, you have rice milk even. Yeah, for them, that's a viable choice.
So bottom line, milk good. We can say that, I think, right, at the end of all this?
And it has a very high protein content, and I think that there are a lot of people these days who are not getting enough protein, especially seniors.
So, you know what, and better to drink a glass of milk regardless than having a Coke or anything else, right?
There's no doubt about that one.
Exactly. So there you go. Joe, I don't want to run out of time. I want to have what you want to talk about. What supplements you write are actually worth taking? Is there some news on this?
Well, there is, but this merits a bit more discussion than, just a few seconds that we have left, because there's a lot of controversy about dietary supplements. But I just wrote a column on creatine, which is one that I think is worth taking. That's going to be in the Gazette on Saturday. So I think that is beneficial, especially for athletes who are sprinters or who play serious hockey, because it can give an energy boost. Most of the other supplements I'm not in favor of, but there are some others that I would like to talk about, but maybe we can do that next time because it takes a bit more of an involved discussion.
So that detailed sort of part of it will be in their column coming tomorrow? Is that in there as well?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That will be in there.
Beyond the creatine, it's some of the other things you think are worth taking.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can find that in the paper. And next time we do this, maybe we can talk about that as well. Joe, thank you very much.
We'll talk about psyllium and other fiber supplements, which I think are worth taking.
Great. And thanks from Big Milk, if there was such a thing. I think a lot of people think there is Big Milk.
Canadian women are looking for more out of themselves, their businesses, their elected leaders, and the world around them.
And that's why we're thrilled to introduce the Honest Talk podcast.
I'm Jennifer Stewart.
And I'm Catherine Clark. And in this podcast, we interview Canada's most inspiring women.
Entrepreneurs, artists, athletes, politicians, and newsmakers, all at different stages of their journey.
So if you're looking to connect, then we hope you'll join us.
Listen to the Honest Talk podcast on iHeartRadio or wherever you listen to your podcasts.